the moral standards of America have significantly decreased. Compared to 40, 50 years ago, the moral standards of America are 50% down.
Cheated on your wife before you divorced him. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to learn about his qualifications, not what he does in his private life. And he laid into them.
He's the leader. He's a very, very, he was a very powerful congressman. Today, Friday, he announced he wants to ratify the 28th Amendment.
Which is
called the ERA, Equal Rights Amendment. So apparently the federal government in any state in the union won't be able to discriminate against any type of sex. But remember one important fact, that many years ago we had two sexes.
Yeah.
Today we have quite a few.
Yeah, we have about 50, 60.
I don't know if it's 50 or 60, but for sure we have more than two.
Yeah.
And the ERA Amendment, is going to make sure that any type of sex discrimination can happen, because it's the law of the land, and
I'm starting to think that it's not Robert Kennedy that has a worm in his brain.
Robert.
I mean, it's ridiculous that somebody's even thinking about this when all of this stuff.
Maybe it's the red dye.
Maybe you shouldn't sleep with your.
Maybe it's the red dye. Joe Biden had too much red dye. That's why they're banning it today.
So he wants this. So you can't just. First of all, I believe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but we already have laws against discrimination.
Yep, absolutely.
So why do we
right.
need more law? It's like I used to talk to when I was going to school for theater. Went to school for musical theater. I had one of my gay, homosexual, I don't know what they call themselves today, friends, and we were talking about hate crimes. And I said, you know what? I said, this is ridiculous, hate crimes. And he goes, well, why? I said, because if I get clunked on the head with a club, that's called assault. But if you get clunked on the head with a club, then that becomes a hate crime.
Yeah.
I go, that's not going to make equality work.
Absolutely.
So by making all these, we got to pile more laws. One thing, if a hate crime should be that somebody's going directly after somebody because of their gender, because of their ethnicity.
I'm so sorry. I have to interrupt you for 1 second. After you saying that, you know what comes to my mind? What? That regardless of the way you identify yourself, one way people in general identify another human being is by their character, their way of life, their traits, and that just, dilutes down to that there's only one way to identify an individual, regardless of sex. And what I'm trying to say is you can be homosexual, you can be transgender, you can be whatever you want, you can be whatever color you want, whatever animal you want, but what's important is for you to be a good human being.
That's it.
If you are a noble, honorable, decent, not cheating, not lying human being, you can be whatever you want to be. It makes no difference, And I'm coming to conclusion day by day to that understanding that, unfortunately, and I was talking about this the other day, me and Tom were doing a video, how the moral standards of America have significantly decreased, Compared to 40, 50 years ago, the moral standards of America are 50% down. There's less people saying that the moral ways of life, of people, of teaching, of growing up, and how our parents raised us are upstanding today. They're equivalent to almost zero. That's why we have these lootings, these break-ins, and these people that during the worst time of anybody's life can crash into their house, loot, steal, and, just destroy more of that person's life while they're going through some kind of disaster,
And on the other side of the coin, you have social media putting pictures of black people taking stuff out of the houses. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that's their house.
Exactly.
They are actually taking stuff out of their own houses to save, and you got these idiots starting the divide and conquer mentality online that is putting, look at the looters. It's like, no, that's possibly their house.
You're absolutely right.
I had somebody put that on one of the social media platforms, and I sent them was it a DM, a private PM?
Yeah, direct message, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, you should probably take that down because there's no proof that those are that's not their house to take
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
TV out of.
Yep.
I would take. I mean, so if I'm taking a guitar out of my apartment, people go, "Oh, look, he's looting." You mean this is ridiculous? This is just utterly ridiculous.
No, you're absolutely right. You know what's interesting?
Go ahead.
Out of those, how many? I think it was 44 people that looted and stole and, stole property and committed, robberies. Maybe just out of those 44, maybe 2 or 3 people were black. The rest were white.
Yeah.
Just if I remember correctly, we can fact check that in a little bit with Tom. But
Tom?
yeah, but yeah, Tom can check that. Out of those 44 people, again, according to my recollection, there was just a few black people. The rest were white. And you're right. The media, the way it's used to emphasize on certain,
the problem
conversations.
for me is I don't represent white people. I don't sit and I don't pretend to say I will stick up for all white people because that's not. I stick up for what's right. And so behavior. When people say to me about race and about ethnicity and about religion, I go, I don't give a crap. As long as you're a good person, it's about your behavior. If you're acting like a jerk,
Absolutely.
I don't want you around me. I definitely don't want you around my kids. And I'm not talking about guys that have a sense of humor. I'm just talking about people with bad attitudes.
What do you think? What's the reason that we came to this, low morale and low way of living, and
Well, it's through media, through television, through show of shows when Sid Caesar was dressing up like a woman and stuff like that. I think that was the beginning. Vaudeville, you had to go to that, but this stuff was brought right into your houses.
Look, out of all those people, how many black people do you see that committed the crimes? Look, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so I gotta say, it looks
Look.
like basically one white guy.
White, Latino, all types of races. You know what that tells me?
That guy with the eyes, man, he looks.
Oh, that guy.
Does he got smoke,
that guy
smoke
looks
in his eyes?
That guy looks like he's been beaten up before, and he owes somebody a lot of money, and he went to commit this crime to pay the guy back. That's what he looks like to me.
There's no need for stealing off people. Don't take what's not yours.
But what this tells me, even though they're criminals, that this is the only country in the world that truly, and I mean this truly, very truly, has no specific one race.
No.
This is the country, they say mutt, and a lot of people get offended by it, but that's so true. We're all mutts. We are all from a different country, different part of the world, who immigrated here at different times of this century, okay, and for one specific reason. And that reason is, for us to come to a better living, to a better country, to a better place where we can raise our children, get an education, be proud business owners and entrepreneurs, and eventually open up a podcast just like this. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because this is the last vestige of a place where people can come with nothing and become something.
Absolutely.
You go to other countries, that's not going to happen. They're not going to let you do it, especially if you're a foreigner. They're not even going to let you in.
Give me an example of one other country that the entire world goes to become an immigrant. Give me one example. None. We can't give any. None. This is the only country in the entire world through the 7 continents that people fly and come from all over the world to become a better human being. Not only as a person of the, a better human for themselves, but for a lot of other people, because we have to, remember and understand this very one important fact that when people come to this country, they send money home, they send money to their relatives, to their friends, to their countrymen. They're benefiting everybody. This country, Trump is outright right to impose these tariffs on specific countries that are totally benefiting from us, Yeah. Every single country in the world is benefiting from us by either, importing goods or exporting goods. It doesn't matter. We're importing, that means they're making money. We're exporting, they're building a better relationship with us. You know what I'm saying? So,
however, of course, I've always thought that the reason that we have our military all over the world is so we can build more McDonald's and Walmart and stuff like that, because it's just disgusting that they want to clean the land of the people so that they can sell more Big Macs. and or Disneyland was going all over the place. It's a bunch of bullshit. And as far as people coming here, the only requirement I would have for you to come here, once you go through all the process, is to assimilate. This is the United States of America. So if you want to be here, you can keep your culture. We're not saying you got to get rid of your culture, but you have to assimilate, learn the language,
Absolutely.
learn the culture,
Absolutely.
learn right from wrong, and then go, oh no, I know nothing, I know nothing. You can't do that shit, man.
Yeah.
Go back. This is America. My grandparents came over here. Well, my father's mother came over here from Puerto Rico, and she assimilated. She learned the language. My mother's grandparents came over here from Italy. They assimilated. They learned the language. They were embarrassed. If they couldn't speak English. Now, we're supposed to be embarrassed because I'm not speaking their language. And it's like, bafangu. No, sorry. So, anyway.
No, you are right. One thing I would add to what you're saying is that, yes, you're more than welcome to immigrate. Yes, you are more than welcome to keep your own ways and your own understanding of your culture, However, at the same time, you must definitely assimilate. You should assimilate and be part of the common people, the common understanding, the common language, and just because you did something one way in your country, it doesn't mean you can continue doing so in this. This country has their own, culture, their own ways, their own way of thinking, And yes, again, don't get me wrong. I'm a proud Armenian, and I keep many stuff the way we did in the old country. However,
I get to learn about your culture through you. I get to learn about your food through you. I didn't grow up with that kind of food.
Absolutely.
So it was nice. I mean, of course, rice. Everybody grows up at rice.
Yeah.
But a lot of the way that the meat's prepared and the vegetables prepared.
And I know you love Armenian food.
Yes, I do.
Yes, we've had so many together.
Hey, I gotta say something. What do you think of that senator from Oklahoma? I can't remember his name.
Oklahoma.
During the
senator from which
Secretary of Defense.
Which time period?
Just right now. They had the other day.
Oh, the guy that was getting thing. What's his name? Fuck.
Hegsfield.
Jesus. Lord. What's his name? Tom, pull his name up. Happy Pete.
So, what happens is.
Can you roll up, Tom, for a second? Pete Hegseth. Hold on. Is he a senator? No, he's an American television presenter.
He's a military guy.
He's a fucking podcaster.
No,
that can be any one of us.
He was in the military for over 20 years. He headed up a lot of organizations. He fought in battle, and this woman Hiroshio, that piece of shit from fucking Hawaii, and all these other ones that are just attacking him and talking about, oh, you got drunk. You cheated on your wife and all this stuff, and the guy Langsfield from Oklahoma turns to the senators on the left and goes, "I've been to many late night voting sessions, and you all showed up drunk."
Oh wow!
And he says, and a lot of you, and they were and Frog Lips, Jack Reed, that piece of shit. And there's a few other ones that just Blumenthal. I can't stand any of them because they're just garbage. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. But fair is fair. We've been having these military people in forever, and they're doing shitty jobs. So let's get some laymen in there and see what happens.
You know what's interesting? Neither you or I are registered Republicans.
Yeah.
But whoever watches this show is gonna automatically think we're fucking super. Right-wing conservative.
Yeah.
But, I want to tell you all that's not the case. We're here as a normal people, as a noble people, as a moral people. That's what we're preaching here.
I'm socially liberal, fiscally conservative. That's what I am. I don't belong to a party.
I can almost say the same thing, but I am a registered Democrat, just to let you know for the record.
Oh, I'm not doing any more podcasts with you. We were talking about, so we got the woman, and then we got the woman from Florida that's going to be the district attorney of the United States, I believe. And this woman's just the woman, the Democratic women are just attacking these people, and it makes me sick.
I have a question for you. We know how drastic Trump is, and in things and the way he does things. Yeah. Do you think in his first 100 days he's gonna have somebody who he just nominated or to be part of his cabinet to be you know taken out like James Comey or something?
No, I think what I think.
You think? I mean, second time around, he's more well versed, more experienced, more knowledgeable,
Well, I think
more experience. In
if you heard-
in running a White House.
yeah, because if you hear Trump speak the last few months, he said that when the first term, he didn't think he was going to win. So
Really?
he didn't think he was going to win.
No way.
So what happens is, when he wins, he doesn't know who to pick for his cabinet, so he listens to everybody tell him who he should pick.
Hold on. This is first time around.
First time around.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so he said second time. So he picked all these people because they said, "Oh, you got to pick him. You got to pick him," because he didn't know. He said, "Now I know. I'm picking who I want and the people I think are qualified." That's going to be the difference. Now, I love Tulsi Gabbard. I love Robert Kennedy. I love Pete Hegseth. And I can't remember the woman from Florida's name. I like who he's picking, and I want to see what happens with these people. I noticed there's no trans people. There's no overly gay people who steal luggage from the airport. So I'm happy about it so far.
You forgot to mention the two other the very most popular people, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy. Taking charge of Dodge.
Yeah, but Vic's supposedly running for governor now.
Who?
Vic?
Vivek?
Is that Vivek?
Yeah, the Indian guy.
Yeah.
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
No way, he's running for governor.
I just saw something, and I forget which state it was. Yeah. So because I
Vivek
wake up
Ramaswamy plans announced on Ohio gubernatorial run. Wow.
Ohio.
And this is
Why did he
MSN News.
pick Ohio? No.
I've been to Columbus. I loved it.
Do we got to get the rights on that song that I just sang? Oh yeah, I read that today.
Yeah, wow.
It's
Running for governor, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Then the guy Patel, who worked for the FBI, he's supposed to head up the FBI, and he's going to close the Hoover building.
Why?
He said because it's a
J.
museum.
Edgar Hoover?
It's a museum, yeah.
Really?
And he said we're going to put all the people on the street and make them work. They're just sitting in offices.
You know, right? J. Edgar Hoover was gay.
He was a Freemason.
Yeah, he was. He was a gay Freemason.
He was, they're not all great, you know. I'm a Freemason, but Brigham Young, you know what I mean? I was just watching something on him, and I'm like, wow, these guys were not nice people, you know.
J. Edgar was he was the type where, he made, and I believe this is the reason he was like that, because he was gay, and during those years being gay is totally against all fucking policies of any place, and he collected so much dirt on other people just in case if people wanted to expose him.
Yeah.
He'll pull out and say, "Hey, motherfucker, I got this on you. No way you're gonna expose me." And I think that's the only reason why he climbed to power, becoming the first director of FBI, and he wasn't director only for a couple of years or through a few administrations. Or one administration. He was a director under many administrations,
Because he had dirt on everybody.
Exactly. That especially for JFK and RFK and all those good people. Did you see Biden's farewell speech?
Did I see it?
Yeah, I mean, did
Was
you
he
hear
on the
it?
beach eating ice cream? I don't know. I don't.
No.
I can't stand the man. I can't stand any of them.
Really?
Yeah, so I won't watch.
What's the number one thing you dislike about him?
Joe Biden?
Yeah.
He's a hypocrite.
Hypocrite? Okay, I can see that. 50 years, you'll be a hypocrite in 50 years.
Not me.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Joe Biden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
You know what it is? It's
What I'm
like,
trying to say, you can be. That
it's
I'm
like
referring
Michelle
to.
Obama's not going to Trump's inauguration.
Here, this is farewell speech.
For the Oval Office. Before I begin, let me speak to important news that from earlier today. After 8 months of nonstop negotiation, my administration
Apparently, he saved Hamas and Gaza
So full of shit.
and
this
Jews
man.
at the same time.
Trump says we're going to rain down hell on you, and then a couple days later, it's done. This guy's done absolutely nothing. Of course it was.
Can you stop for a second? Can you stop? Do you know what he's doing right now?
Shit in his pants?
His approval rating is so low that before he leaves office, he's trying to, tell the people of this country that he did a few good things. One of them is, making sure Israel and Palestine, they don't have a war, they have a peace treaty. And then, I don't know, telling the country to ratify the 28th Amendment for the Equal Rights Amendment, trying to...
Wonderful, man.
Yeah, and he's trying to do all these fantastic, wonderful, beautiful things that he hasn't done for the past for the past 12 years, including being vice president for 8, during those 12 years as the chief executive, not CEO, but let's say whatever, he's a COO, but he still had a lot of power. He still could have done a lot of things, He just chilled. He just chilled. He made a lot of money. He made sure his son makes a lot of money. He made sure that when his son, is doing what he's doing, I don't want to name him, but being excited on hard drugs, is a good thing, I guess, for him.
Does he look like he's whistling?
It looks like it's
So I think as soon as Biden passes away, his son's not gonna live much long after that.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost passed away.
He is passed away.
He looks passed out. So we can have this picture, please.
Old Man River.
You should you should take a screenshot of this and. Yeah. Oh my God. This is fucking great. This is a good podcast. So look, I'm gonna read off some stats.
Go ahead.
Okay, Biden's overall approval rating, 36%. Immigration, 31%.
Is that approval?
Approval.
Okay.
31% of the entire fucking country approves of Biden's immigration policies. Foreign affairs, 32. Economy, 33. It's only 2% higher than immigration. Protecting democracy, 46. Healthcare policies, 43.
So were you part of these polls? Did you get called?
No, I didn't.
Tom, did you get called?
No, but I think
I didn't get called either.
Yeah.
So there's 3% right there. I mean, they're lacking. I mean, this is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit.
No. I think they just call around the people, whoever.
Of course they do.
Yeah, but all over the country. I've been called to these polls. To be
So
very
what
frank,
happens
not
is they
to,
call.
not to the specific one.
I know, but what happens is they call and then they go, shit. 99% of the people disagree with Biden's policies.
Yeah.
Give me that list of the woke Democrats. We're going to stop polling them right now so we can mix those numbers up. There's no way. I don't know anybody besides my soon-to-be ex-wife that likes this man, or the hyena that was running after him.
Is she unhappy that he's out?
She hates Trump. She hates him.
She hates him this time around as well. The
I
second
don't
time.
talk to her that much anymore
Oh,
because
that's right.
it aggravates me, and I end up smoking more cigarettes than I need to.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know. You know what? What's the number one fail for me?
What?
For Joe Biden is him being a human being, being a good person.
reason not.
I think in any scenario of your life, at any job, from president to a carpenter to a housekeeper, as if you have good standard of living. What I mean good standard of living are your standards are so high as an individual, your morals are so high, you can make the right choices all the time. So if you're president, yes, there are certain things that are controlled and maneuvered and influenced by other entities and other people, other parties. However, you being a morally upright individual, you can make sure the decisions that you make, don't go against your consciousness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, the thing is, you had the other example is, Bill Clinton, and most guys at that time can relate to, what he was doing. But for him to go and perjure himself, he shot himself in the foot.
What about Monica?
He said that he did not have sexual relations.
Yeah.
He perjured himself, and that's what he could charge for. He didn't get charged for getting a blowjob.
Yeah,
he got
absolutely.
charged for perjury.
Do you
So,
care he got a blowjob?
I don't give a shit.
I don't give
The
a
same
shit
way
either,
I don't
honestly.
care that Biden,
I don't care either.
Biden pardoned his son because that's his son. I understand it. But to say, oh, that's not going to happen, we're not going to do that, just shut the fuck up. Most Americans will understand a man pardoning his retarded son. Okay? So we can all relate to that. So when they take that moral high ground of I'm better than you,
Yeah.
that's the moral high ground that the American people are fed up with. I remember I was working for the studios in 2000 during the election, and I had to go. I had to bring video VHS tapes from.
Speak close to the mic.
I had to bring
Or bring
VHS
the
tapes.
mic close to you.
No, closer.
Yeah. There you go.
Smell. Who used this last? It smells like Cheetos. So I was driving around listening to the debates between Bush Jr. and Al Gore. And the thing that really turned me off about Al Gore was he was just such a pompous asshole in those debates where he was like, because I'm not watching them, so I'm just listening because I have a car. And all I hear is George Bush says something, whatever he believes, which it sounds stupid. And then you got Al Gore going, well, and he says what he said. And I said, well, you're a pompous asshole. So you're not getting my vote.
Global warming.
Yeah, global warming. So you're not getting my vote. The other thing I was going to say about him was, this is the hypocrisy that I hate that goes on in this country. And Howard Stern's the biggest proponent of this. That's that fucking cocksucker.
Who?
Howard Stern.
Oh, you don't like him?
No, I used to love him. But this guy's family made all their money on tobacco farms. They were tobacconists. And then his sister gets cancer from tobacco.
Al Gore, we're talking about?
Yeah. So now we gotta sue. We gotta get rid of all tobacco products. So this is their whole movement, right? Like, well, then give back all the money that you made. Give back the millions of dollars of the money you made. Where Howard Stern, he called people retard. That was their nicknames. Beetlejuice and something the retard, I forget. Gary the retard and Wendy the retard, and he had women on his show and he would talk them into taking their clothes off and all that shit. He made millions of dollars. He's a multi-millionaire, probably close to billionaire. And then he finds, I have to be woke now and I can't do this anymore. Well, give back the money. Sell all your fucking condos and your house and all your shit. Give it back, and then I'll believe you because you made all your money off that, and now you're saying it's bad. You're a hypocrite.
He's adjusting to norms. That's what he's doing. A lot of people, that's another problem that we have is people adjust to norms. Just because, majority of the people do one thing, it doesn't mean it's the right thing. What I'm saying? And a lot of people are influenced by the majority. The greatest good for the greatest number, right? That's the hypocritical philosophy of, many, philosophers out there, So
It's just,
type in, Tom, the greatest good for the greatest number by John, what's his name? John Stuart Mills. He's a utilitarian philosopher who was, preaching the story of the greatest good for the greatest number. If something, if it's really good, yes, I get it. But if it's good for the reasons of adjusting to norms, I don't think, that's the right philosophy. Think about it for a second. When we say the greatest good for the greatest number, a normal person's understanding is that it must be something good. It should be something noble. It should be something moral, right?
Yeah.
But now the understanding of the greatest good for the greatest number is an opinion. Let's say to have same-sex restrooms, or to, teach about, transgender rights in elementary school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That becomes a norm. And because it is a norm, a lot of people would like to, because most of the people are yes men, they yes the opinion and they become part of that norm. Therefore, whatever John Stuart Mills was talking about can, become true. But, overall, I see the fact that, we shouldn't always assimilate to the fact of if it is good for many, that means it is good. It's okay for the others to suffer, kind of a thing.
Well, it comes back to the same old thing. I mean, you teach your children to respect everybody, no matter what ethnicity, what religion, what their sexual preference is. That's what you do as a parent. I've done that as a parent. I said, I teach my kids, it's character. It's not what people believe whatever. And we have to go. This is it in a nutshell. These groups get together, like the ACLU. You see them on TV now, looking for money. Donate to the ACLU, and now you see, the NAACP looking for money because they saw how much money Black Lives Matters made. They made over $100 million in a year. So now, like, hey, I want a piece of that. I want a piece. So we're going to push this agenda. We're going to $15 million, I think, LGBTQ made in a quarter or something one of the years, and or 150 million they made one year. So now people are looking at, hey, let's start this crazy group of support crazy people, and then we'll start getting funding, and then we'll just screw everybody over. Just treat people with respect. That's it. I'm not giving them any of my money. American Civil Liberties Union. They got commercials out now looking for money. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Robert, who do you think is going to run for president after Trump? 4 years from now?
It's going to be J.D. Vance.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
You know what? I can't see anybody running again. I mean, first of all, let's just say it all depends on how Trump. I'm not saying Trump won, everything's going to be great. I can't say that. So I have to see what happens. As of right now, I see J.D. Vance possibly being the next.
What about from the left wing? Hold on. Let me rephrase. What about from the Democratic Party?
They better find somebody because there isn't anybody.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't think Newsom's going to run?
After this disaster? After the fire?
But in 4 years, it might be forgotten.
It's going to keep coming up. I mean, look, I don't know. I don't know.
He's going to have some smart, eloquent answer when he's asked during a debate.
I don't know how leftists feel when their house burns down, because they supported these guys. So now that they have nothing, and they had no insurance, some of them, they lost everything.
What do you think about him?
Who, Gavin Newsom?
Yeah, as a guy, as a bro, I
think he's a slimy scumbag. He's a piece of shit. There's nothing I could say about him and positive. And I'm going to say my biggest problem with him was that during COVID, my kids had to stay home. Okay? They couldn't go to school because of that bullshit COVID stuff that they were pushing, mandates. And his kids were going to school because he can afford to put him in a private school. There were people who couldn't go to funerals to see their dead parents or their dead siblings. And because of these mandates. And he was out there having a good old time with all his buddies, drinking, having a great time. Restaurants were closed down. His wasn't. I mean, this guy slept with his best friend's wife. How can anybody...
I was waiting for you to finish so I can mention that. Tom, can you please pull that up? Him sleeping with his best friend's wife. I mean, that's just another low.
That is the scummiest thing you could do as a man.
That is just another low anybody can have, Sleeping with your best friend's wife. I mean, that just, tells me what kind of a person he must be. If he slept with his best friend's wife, do you really think he cares about the state?
He cares about nothing but himself.
Do you really think he cares about the people living here?
No.
The fifth largest economy in the country? Not in the country, excuse me, the fifth largest economy in the world?
That's who he sold his integrity for?
That's what I'm saying. I've met him a few times. Yeah, I've met him a few times, and I've witnessed some, how should I say this, some interesting things, and I don't want to mention it right now. Maybe down the line, very later on, I might mention it, and it's just, anyways, it's a rumor that everybody knows about him. It's a widespread rumor, but I'm not going to mention it right now.
So everybody says he's Nancy Pelosi's something.
Yeah,
related to Nancy Pelosi. Is that actually true?
I don't know.
Because I don't believe anything I see.
I have no clue. But he rose in California politics how should I say this? Very, not slowly, but
Destructively.
no, moderately, you know. And he was part of the political powerhouse of California, you know. And you know, what was he? He was mayor of San Francisco. After mayor of San Francisco, he became what was it? Not attorney general.
Wasn't he attorney general first, then the mayor?
No. I think he was.
He was used car salesman of the year. That was his first job.
Can we Google his career for a minute?
Did you see the video where the woman was asking him questions and he said he was on the
Yeah, I saw that.
Bush?
Yeah, I know.
This guy's such a bullshit.
I saw that.
Piece of shit.
He's a good weasel.
He should be, and his partner, Karen Bass, that other piece of garbage. You know, it's ridiculous that these people are the ones running one of the largest economies in the world. They are so inadequate. It's just inappropriate for them to even be in those offices.
So you know, he had a moderate run in his political career.
Yeah.
He was a supervisor for San Francisco in one of his counties, and then after that, he became the mayor and then lieutenant governor. You know, I was a delegate at the time, I think, when he was in the, what was it, 2012, I think, right? When Jerry Brown was governor. When Jerry Brown was governor, he was lieutenant governor. And I was appointed delegate at the time for Congressman Schiff for the Democratic Convention, the
Did you see
LACDP. Yeah.
There's another guy I can't stand.
Who, Schiff? You know what? You know what? I got to be frank with you. I got to be very frank. He's one of those politicians that I've met, and I've met quite a few, that he's just like a normal dude. He's a normal guy. He has a wonderful family. He has a good wife. He has good kids. He has boys, and he has a very good right-hand woman. You know, I don't know if I should name her or not. Patricia Horton. She's a wonderful human being, and they're just an overall good quality people. Now, the politics may be, how should I use that statement? The politics may be, a fact or part for an argument, but him being a good human, I think is a different story. And it doesn't matter. You can be a good human and have a different type of politics that other people disagree with. But he's not a bad person.
He just comes off as a hall monitor, a nerdy hall monitor.
He's the leader. He's a very, very, he was a very powerful congressman. Very powerful. He sat on very.
How much weight could he pick up?
I don't know.
Then he wasn't powerful.
With dumbbells? But no, he could pick up a lot of weight. Yeah. I mean, if you have the guts, if you have the balls to go against a sitting president and try to impeach him solely by yourself, and then have a Senate and the Congress try to, come to your rescue, that means you are somebody. He sat on the Intelligence Committee. He was the chair of the Intelligence Committee. I want you to understand one thing. There are 3 or 4 people in the country that gets a intelligence report every morning. It's the president, the director of the CIA, the defense secretary, and the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, right? Can we Google that? Can we fact check that, what I'm saying? There's 4 people in the entire country that get an intelligence report, and he was one of them. That just tells me how much power you have. If you know what the fuck is going on in the country before anybody else does, in the world, what's going on in the world before anybody even fucking wakes up, that means, I think you're truly a somebody. And, they gave him that responsibility, Did
you see the documentary on HBO about how these senators get those seats?
The chairmanship, the committee seats?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I mean, I know how it works in California.
Okay, it's about the ones that raise the most money.
Exactly.
Get the seat.
So it's the same way.
It doesn't mean he's qualified. It doesn't mean shit about him.
No, you're absolutely right. But that also tells me if he is raising that much money, that means he is powerful enough to raise that much money.
I'll give him that.
You know, he is a somebody who can, you know, make certain things happen while others cannot. You know, that's what it tells me. And what I've seen, again, personally of him, and I've been to one of his birthday parties. I was sitting next to the Maloof brothers. You know the Maloof brothers?
Yeah, I met one of them.
Yeah, I was sitting next to the Maloof brothers, and he's just a normal, kind individual. I mean, the interactions I've had, and I've had, you know, quite a few with him. He's just a normal guy. Again, his politics, you know, we may disagree with, but as a guy, as a person, as an individual, as a dad, as a husband, I feel he's a good guy. You know, that's the way I see it.
Well, I trust your opinion.
Yeah. No, well, no.
No, because I don't know him. But all I know is what I see.
I would say, you know, 90% of the country doesn't know him. If not 99% of the country doesn't know him personally. You know, they judge a character based on the predictions, speculations, and the information that is given through media. That's be social media, that'll be TV media, there'll be CNN, Fox, and MSNBC, and so on and so forth. You know, that's what they're trusting. But and I get that. You know, when you don't know an individual, you know, the media can portray that person in so many different ways. They can make him the best, the worst.
Of course, through editing.
You know, exactly, and it's all possible. So, yeah, going back to him. But anyways, you know, these recent fires, did they affect you in any way?
Well, they have, because my children go to Pali High. All three of them went there, but my oldest is out. My other two are still at Pali High. So my son plays baseball, and he's so psyched to start the season. He's in JV. He's a pitcher, lefty, and that's his life. He's just always in baseball. So when the fire started, they were watching it intensely, and he said, "Oh no, the baseball field's on fire." And then the school, I guess 70% of the school saved. It was okay.
Yeah.
But so that, a lot of their friends, the houses burned down.
Oh wow.
Really cool, really nice kids. I don't know their families because they're their friends, and a lot of the surrounding areas they used to hang at, like with the Starbucks and the Gels. They used to go to Gelson's all the time. The day of the fires, I drove my motorcycle down there into the fire. And because my kids were upset, and I said, well, let me go see what's going on. And I saw behind the Gelsons was on fire. I saw the school was on fire, and I'm just watching the cinders coming down. It was like a whirlwind. Like, people said, oh, the wind's blowing this way. Wind was blowing in a circle. A cinder came down towards me. I look at my motorcycle. I got a full tank of gas. I go, it's time to get out of here before this thing blows up. So and I took off. But I took some video and stuff. So it has affected me because my children are depressed because of their friends. They're depressed because, like my son said, all my memories, they're going to be gone. I go, no, man, your memories are in your head. Those are just experiences.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep uplift. I try to keep them busy when I'm not working. Just keep their minds occupied. This is hard on anybody in that area, considering that, you know, they just got back to school 3 years ago from being homeschooled.
You think these insurance companies should have not canceled people's policies, or should have they, or did they?
Greedy cocksuckers, man. Of course they should. They okay. First of all, let's see what the CEOs of these motherfucking companies are making. Right? Are they giving themselves bonuses? Are they giving themselves raises while they're cutting? You know, as Karen Bass cuts $17.6 million from the fire budget, but gives her buddy, head of Department of Water and Power, doubles her pay for the year, $750,000. She gives her an extra $375,000 from the previous person, but you're cutting the fire budget and nobody's cleaning anything. No, it's just.
I definitely agree with the fact that we shouldn't have had fire budget cuts in this state, in the city, you know, from the state budget, from the city budget, or the county budget, you know, because if we're anticipating or we're having a common problem constantly, that means you should predict that something like this may happen in the future. And the city of LA and the state of California is where a lot of fires happen. We've had a bunch of fires, you know, in the past 10 years. We had a ridiculous earthquake in the early 90s, you know, the Northridge earthquake. and we haven't had one for a while as well. And I think we should, prepare, for a massive earthquake. Something that can also ruin a lot of people's life. However, I gotta disagree with you on one issue.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, to illustrate my disagreement. If you were a insurance company, you were State Farm, you were Farmers, and you saw that there is a very high risk in the region where you are insuring, people, houses, property, would you continue doing business in that area, in that space where there's a very high likelihood of something disastrous happening, such as these fires? Would you still risk continuing few $1,000 premiums and paying out millions of dollars?
Well, as a previous businessman, when I'm my younger days, you need to prepare. So you need to prepare for. I mean, what do they think? It's like our politicians govern with fingers crossed. Okay, hopefully it doesn't happen during my term. There's a problem. Prepare. So instead of paying out bonuses to people and giving everybody a raise all the time, take the extra money for the years, for the 10. When was the last time there was a fire in the Palisades, right? 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
No, the last time fires were in the San Fernando Valley.
No, but they had one in Malibu and a little bit in the Palisades, but not the big.
Yeah.
So during the good years, take the extra money and put it in an account, either a 401k type of account or put it in crypto. I don't know what. Do something with the extra money instead of passing it out to everybody so they can go buy another car or another house. So that when this disaster happens, you're not being like sucker punched, right? They don't prepare. What are you doing? You just take money as insurance? It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. You can't just do things during the good times. And then when people need you, you're like, oh, hold on a minute. You've been paying for 25 years. Now you need our help. Oh, shit, we don't have enough money. It's like Social Security. There was such a surplus of Social Security that LBJ took the money out of the Social Security and put it in the general fund for the war. So, they created Social Security with you can start collecting it at 65, and then you go and you look at the average lifespan of a man was 54. So most people paid in most of their careers and never got to use it. They never got to have it. It was there. It was sitting in an account. Our politicians are corrupt. They don't know how to manage. They're a bunch of idiots, and that's why, same thing with the CEOs. CEOs all they care about is, how much you're going to pay me? Okay, pay me this. Prepare. That's what you're supposed to do as a businessman. I don't know.
I understand your analogy, but
Anchor man.
what do you say? My anchor man? Anger.
Anger.
I understand your analogy, but look at it from this way. If you're going somewhere and you're constantly having problems in that place, wherever you're going, would you continue going there?
No, I mean, if there's a continuation of fires in an area, people shouldn't live there.
Okay.
Period. Clear
But
it out.
there isn't a continuation of fires at one specific place constantly, but there's a continuation of fires at one specific state.
Okay, so
which is this state of California.
Wait a minute. Let's take the whole second largest state in the country.
But
how many people are paying into the insurance companies every single month or every single quarter? How much money are they making? So you got these 10 areas out of 500 that are constantly on fire, but you're still collecting money, a lot of money, over all the other cities in California. So it's a mismanagement of funds. It's a mismanagement.
No, I think
completely.
I think this is my personal opinion. If you're in the risk business, and insurance is a risk business, if you're in the risk business, you should predict your risk, and by prediction, you should have an amount of fees you should charge to that homeowner or to that specific policy, where God forbid, if another fire happens, you shouldn't leave those people hanging, but you should pay them out. But however, within the years that those fires didn't happen, you accumulated or made enough profit for you to be able to pay out these people.
Yeah.
I don't think you should cancel 3 months before, before some fire happened. Of course, we're going to speculate. Why did they cancel 3 months before specific Palisades fire? There was a bunch of homes that had policies canceled, specifically in Pacific Palisades.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of homes that had their policies canceled in Altadena and Pasadena area. And again, this is open for speculation why that happened. But what I'm trying to say is that those insurance companies should have also speculated that this type of fire can occur. And if this type of fire can occur, charge a little bit higher of a premium, not crazy, but a little bit higher of a premium where you can accumulate enough, the reserves and enough, money to pay out people when something disastrous like this happens. And this doesn't happen every year, by the way. This happens once every, 5 to 10 years, the last
Perfect
time.
storm.
Exactly. Once every 5 to 10 years. And in those 5 or 10 years, you can definitely, as a company, collect and make enough money to pay out these policies. I mean, that's my take on it.
So let me ask you, because I had this discussion with one of my insurance people, and I said, when I'm getting my insurance on my car, and I go, why do I need liability? She goes, well, because if the person that hits you doesn't have insurance, you're covered. And I go, but you're not supposed to be driving unless you have insurance.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, some people just don't do that. And I go, so I got to pay extra to protect myself from somebody that's not following the rules.
That's right.
And they go, well, that's just the way it is. Oh, yeah. So once again, you take the people that actually are responsible and you make them pay for the people that are irresponsible. It's just,
absolutely.
It's just ridiculous. Why now we know these areas are there's fires. Why isn't there some kind of system put in the road, in underground, some kind of sprinkler system that every street has on it that blows water up, right? We know this is going to happen. Why don't we, when we rip a road up for a new house or whatever, why don't we put a new system in the ground that we can just pump water through that sprays onto the properties? Maybe that'll be something they can, instead of a stupid bullet train, that the bullet train to nowhere that they go spend billions and billions of dollars, and on top of clean up the dead trees, man. Dead trees do not create oxygen. You know what I mean? They're useless. All you could do with them is burn them. So get them out of there.
No, I'm here. Honestly, I'm here. I'm listening.
It's I don't know. It's crazy. I feel. I mean, even Altadena. I used to take my kids when I was with their mother down the Christmas tree lane. We go down there and watch all the lights. Now it's gone. It's completely devastating.
Everything you're saying again comes to morals. Do you see how it comes to morals?
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about, I'm supposed to get liability insurance just in case the person in front of me who hits me doesn't have insurance. I'm covered.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That tells me their responsibility level. You know what I'm saying? I understand they may, have a hard time of purchasing liability insurance, but also that is the trajectory of how responsible that individual is.
Greed.
If he's not responsible to get a job, he's not responsible to make money, then he's not going to be responsible to buy liability insurance to protect him and the person that he hits, or has an accident with.
I think if you are insured, you should be insured. Okay? If somebody hits you without insurance, you should still be insured. You shouldn't have to buy a different, I got to pay for this and this. There should just be a blanket. This is what you pay to drive in California. That's it. Now, if somebody doesn't pay and they hit you, you're still covered. However, then they should be penalized because they're not. I had a guy hit me on the 10 with a 10. The 5 turns into the, not the 10, the 5 turns into the 101. It splits. I'm coming from 888 Cigar Lounge in Fullerton. Yeah, Fullerton. So I'm coming from Fullerton because I'm going to go write a script with my buddy Mike Cerrone. We're writing the Three Stooges script, and this guy, it's so it slows down because it splits. This guy in a van just smashes into the back of me. The van flies up in the air, hits another car on its side. I go to the hospital. I find out the guy has no insurance. The guy puts in a report that he fell asleep at the wheel. He's probably high, most likely. He fell asleep at the wheel, hit my car, and there's nothing I can do about it. My insurance company said, "Oh, there's nothing you could do about it."
Yeah.
I go to the owner of the car. There's nothing you can do about it. So I pay all this insurance, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I hate insurance companies. I hate them all.
You know, you know what I want to close out today with? That regardless of what industry we're in or what we're doing in our lives, as long as you live up to good standards, good morals, anything you do will be noble. Anything you do will be very, very noble, and that's what America is suffering today with. And those are the things you're talking about right now. That simple daily incident that can happen with anybody, being rear-ended by somebody who has no insurance policy, especially in LA. There's a bunch of people who have no insurance policies in LA. Me being in the transportation business, I've been dealing with that, on a weekly, monthly, I don't know, biannual basis all the time, where people, hit us and, have an accident, rear-end us, and they don't have insurance. But what I'm trying to say is that, we as a people, we as Americans, we as immigrants and other nationals living in this, beautiful, wonderful country, we should have a high standard of morals, and that comes from home. That comes from the house, that comes from the dad, that comes from the mom. We should have very high standard of morals where we go out there to assimilate, like what you were talking about earlier, to assimilate, and while assimilating, illustrating those morals to others. And when people see that, somebody's morals are high, they're not average, they're not low, they assimilate with that type of a people. And slowly that will spread. I was hearing this lecture by a KGB agent who defected to the U.S., and he says that it takes 30 years to change it takes 30 years to change perspective on things. So if for 30 years, we as a people, as a country, as brethren and, sisters, we illustrate very high standard of morals, I think for the next in 30 years, we should be fine as a country. We'll be once what we were before, a great country.
We heal.
Even though we are great. I was talking about this the other day, and Tom, I was said, let's change the word America, make America great again. Let's change the word America to home. Let's make our home great again.
Yeah.
If you just use that word instead of America, you become from a right-wing Nazi delusional individual. I mean, that's what people think. That's not what I think, but you become a normal guy when you change the word from America to home, because who wouldn't want their home to be great, right?
Of course.
How many people in this country are struggling every single day? Who wouldn't want their home to be great? I mean, I sure do. I want my home to be great constantly.
I noticed earlier, about a couple minutes ago, you used the word perspective.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say,
Perceptions of life. Yeah, that's right.
perceptions of life.
Yeah, author Robert Anthony Myers,
So,
people.
That's on Amazon.com. It's beautiful. I did all the photography, most of it, and a lot of stuff like I talk about's in here. It's just like we're losing. We got to just. I just wrote something today about the Native American. If I got a couple more minutes, the reason that the Native American was destroyed was because of a divide and conquer mentality. So you had tribes that didn't get along with other tribes. And when the Europeans came over here and they understood that this tribe didn't like this tribe, so they go, we're gonna go get rid of them for you. And then they did this, and they kept doing this, so they divided the Native Americans up. until there was only one tribe left. And then, it's done. Now we could take over. So we need to stick together as people. We need to stop with all this minutia and all this. The problem with morality is not you and me, and it's not Tab. It's the social media that is in our kids' hands. Our children are looking at, there's no monitor on this. They're looking at porn. They're looking at stuff that's for adults. They're looking at idiots lighting themselves on fire. This is the problem. That's the number one problem I think we're facing as a society. If we can get that shit out of our kids' hands and let our kids use their imaginations again, and let the kids can't even do math. I ask my kids, they're in high school. I say, what's 20% of this? And they go, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? How do you not know this? You're not being taught. They're not being taught this. But ask them who so-and-so is or who's on this show, and everybody knows.
Yeah.
So we got to get our kids
so right.
back to reading books, to
Back to going to the moon.
yeah.
Back to the going to the moon. When Kennedy was president.
We never went to the moon. You know that, right?
All right. Having the perception of going to the moon. Let's say that.
Right, Tab? Bring it up. Bring it up. Buzz Aldrin said
listen,
it.
that's
Buzz
again.
Aldrin said it.
That's open to speculation. Yes, he did say that,
Okay,
and I've seen that video. But what I'm trying to say is that
We'll use this for another episode. You can cut it and put another episode because when a ship is landing and there's somebody coming off that ship, who set the cameras up?
Yeah.
Because they were the first ones there. So was there aliens that we were in partners with, had the cameras that were,
Hold on, maybe. Hold on. Let's analytically think about this. Maybe it was produced. Maybe they landed, set up the cameras, and then they went back, and it looks like they're landing again. And they're editing and producing. If we think about it that way. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that we honestly, why do you think we became a superpower? This country is just like another business. If you think about it, at one moment when you just start off, you fucking hustle, you kill, you cold call, you work your ass off. You're at the office 20 hours a day, 18 hours a day. You work 100 hours a week. You're first in, you're last out. You kick ass. You become the best at what you do. You kick ass of your competitor, and then you become comfortable. And we as a country became comfortable. We became very comfortable. We made shitload of money. We made sure certain ways of living in the world, not only here in the U.S., are in our benefit. Having a petrodollar, making sure all over the world we have our own bases, making sure that the European Union, NATO is working in benefit to our country. That's all part of a plan. And we just became comfortable. And now, other countries are waking up, trying to kick ass and get ahead. China, India, everybody's predicting that India in the next 5 to 10 years will have the largest economy in the world. Largest economy in the world. India was China before, right? For one moment.
So how we became a superpower.
How?
Hitler.
Hitler.
No, Hitler. Who was the superpower at the time?
Europe, Hitler.
No,
Yeah, it was.
it's England.
No, England. No.
England.
When Hitler was, taking over the world, in the late 30s and the 40s, he was the superpower at the time.
The major superpower was
Before then, yeah, England, with all its commonwealths, and other countries and
England.
Canada, New Zealand,
When England
and half of
was
the world.
losing, and they were about to be destroyed. FDR and him met, both Freemasons. They met.
Churchill and FDR. Yeah.
Met, and they had to make concessions. And we weren't a superpower, so basically, England had to give over a lot of shit.
Did you know that Winston Churchill drank only Armenian brandy?
Really?
Yeah. So he was getting shipped.
Tab, look that up. I don't believe it.
Look it up, Tab. Look it up. So Winston Churchill was being shipped Armenian brandy, was getting shipments of Armenian brandy from Stalin.
Oh, nice.
And because at the time Armenia was, part of the Soviet Union, part of the 16 republics. Can you look that up, please? Yeah. being part of the Soviet Union, he was getting shipments of Armenian brandy. He loved it so much. He's been drinking Armenian brandy, for the last years of the war, and he didn't drink anything else. He'll show it to you right
But
now.
that's how after World War II we became a superpower. It was because of World War II.
Yeah, well, yeah,
That England had to surrender a lot of stuff to us for us to be involved because nobody wanted to get involved. And then FDR let the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor and kill our people, so that the Americans said, "Hey, let's go to war." He did. His favorite cigar was a Romeo Julieta,
Romeo and Juliet? No way.
Cuban, yeah.
Cuban. So Ararat brandy is primarily sold in countries in the former USSR, chief among the Russia, Ukraine, Russia, Georgia, Ukraine, and Belarus. Okay, in the Russian-speaking countries. In politics, hold on. See, an undocumented story claims that during the Yalta conference, Winston Churchill was so impressed with the Armenian brandy, Devin, given by Joseph Stalin, that he asked for several cases to be sent over to him every single year. So that's how powerful Armenian brandy is. Ararat, free advertisement for Ararat here.
And it says that he washed his car with
There
it.
you go. There you go. Yeah. So, but jokes aside, yeah, he loved Armenian brandy so much, and
I mean, I think I've had that because when my
I'm sure you've had your lodges.
moves, a large part of them. Well, used to be. It's
Not anymore.
well because COVID destroyed.
Yeah, and then we moved out of that lodge where a lot of Armenians were coming. Yeah, you're right, Robert. Good having a conversation again. Meaningful, interesting, spontaneous. I hope people learn something from us, and I hope we inspire people. If you want to venture out of this video, please like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, and I want to say it's always great hanging out with you, and I'm glad you called. And the only to all you people that complain about traffic in your little states, you
Yeah.
have no idea, no